right, we welcome to the show Congressman James Comer from Kentucky, who, as you know, is the chair of the House Oversight and Accountability Committee. Mr. Comer, all about the Biden document scandal. Let me just play you a quick, you've heard this before, but I just want to play it one more time for the benefit of everybody, including our listeners. This from the so-called White House special counsel. Oh, there is no sod. Sorry, I thought there was a sod. Anyway, this is the inadvertently misplaced sod, okay, the sound. And I just want to ask you, sir, I keep talking about this, and I keep talking about it to my friend Andrew McCarthy of National Review and so forth and so on. Anybody walks out of the White House, besides the president can declassify, but anybody else from the vice president on down walks out of the White House with a briefcase full of classified documents, whatever. Those documents have to go directly and immediately to the National Archives. They can't go to downtown Washington. They can't go to Wilmington, Delaware. They can't go to Rehoboth. They can't go to yours and my garage. They can't go to your sports car. They have to go to the National Archives. That didn't happen, apparently. And Andy McCarthy says, therefore, they have already admitted guilt. All right? I know that's a little bit of a loaded question, but I wanted to get your take on it.
You're exactly right. And, you know, a lot of the people in the mainstream media are trying to compare what happened with Trump to what happened with Biden. You know, President Trump let National Archives go through and look at his documents. Where their disagreement was what was technically classified and what had been declassified, because the president has the authority to declassify documents. Now, Joe Biden was vice president. He had no authority to declassify documents. He should not have in his possession any classified documents. And he had those for 6 years in at least 2 different locations. We never would have known about his possession of those classified documents had it not been for investigative reporting by CBS News. So they haven't been transparent about this. We know that Hunter Biden is a national security risk. We have a lot of questions as to who had access to those documents, and thus far we haven't had any response back from this White House.
So, Mr. Comer, that's the thing. It doesn't matter whether the documents went to the Penn Biden office building in downtown Washington or Wilmington, Delaware, or Rehoboth or a lot of other places. It doesn't really matter. The place they didn't go in their entirety was the National Archives. And that's where they should have gone. Now, if you have a national security clearance, you can go there in a skiff and read those documents. That's all fine and legal. No one's saying, I'm sure Biden still has his national, or had before he became president. But I'm just saying, right then and there, there's a big problem. And it's just, you know, it hasn't come out as simply. I mean, he is guilty of misplacing and violating federal law regarding the archives and the documents. That's all.
He has, and it's very disappointing. National Archives, they're supposed to give the chairman of the House Oversight Committee and the ranking member, which would now be myself and Jamie Raskin, a briefing to update us on exactly what type of documents President Trump had. They never have to this day done that. And now with President Biden, we have no idea what types of documents were in the possession of President Biden. We have no idea why there wasn't a raid once it was determined that he had documents at both the Biden Penn Center and at his residence in Delaware. We have no idea why there's such a difference in how the FBI treated former President Trump versus current President Biden, especially considered Trump was president and Biden was vice president. So, you know, there's a lot of problems here, not to mention the fact that once a special counsel was appointed to look into Biden's mishandling of classified documents, we learned that President Biden's personal lawyers who don't have security clearance, they're still rummaging around his house looking for and finding additional documents. I mean, that essentially is a crime scene once the special counsel had been appointed, but they were still going around looking for documents. And again, they don't have national security clearance. So there are so many problems here, and it's very disappointing that we don't hear back from National Archives, because at the end of the day, they're responsible for these documents.
I really, from day one when this story broke last week, I've been through this process, Jim, as you may know. I mean, I had clearance, highest clearance in the White House. But who are these personal lawyers. And what were they doing rummaging around the garage? Do they have national security clearance? Who do they report to? And also, Jim Comer, why were they looking? Okay, this is the part. Now, hear me out on this. I'm going to give them a break in one sense. I understand they might have been moving documents from this Penn Biden Center in downtown Washington when Joe Biden became president. Okay, they might have been, and they discovered some classified documents. That's bad enough. I mean, that's already in violation. But what do you think caused them to then send, quote, personal lawyers to the guy's house, to his garage, to his library, whatever? Why? Are they hiding something that we don't know about? Is anything surfaced? Or this be part of your investigation? Because I don't understand why they all of a sudden start looking like crazy for all these documents.
It doesn't make sense. One theory out there is the fact that we've been very vocal on the House Oversight Committee about our intent to investigate National Archives with respect to not only how they've treated President Trump by supposedly triggering the raid on Mar-a-Lago, when, in fact, previous presidents had also been accused of having in their possession classified documents, but also the fact that there had been no transparency with National Archives. So, we wonder if National Archives didn't communicate with Joe Biden and say, we're pretty certain that you too have documents. You better be cleaning them up because, we're not going down without bringing other people with us. So clean your mess up. Now, I don't know that that's what happened, but I think that's a legitimate theory out there. And every day that goes by that the National Archives go without giving me and Ranking Member Raskin a briefing is another day that they're going to be higher up on our list of suspects in this, because there's a problem here with how documents are taken from the White House to the post-presidency, or else we wouldn't have two special counsels, right? So, National Archives should bear some responsibility here. And I'm not certain that National Archives wasn't the person that reached out and leaked it to CBS News, because somebody leaked it to CBS News, or we would never even know that Joe Biden had in his possession classified documents. Remember, they never admitted this until after the story broke that they had it, which was more than 60 days after they supposedly turned in the first batch of classified documents.
Well, now you've said something else, and it just bears repeating. These are crime scenes, and presumably it is the FBI that comes in on crime scenes. Right. The FBI are the counterintelligence people, right? They're the ones in charge of that, not the CIA. It's the FBI. Well, why? I mean, you've got personal lawyers and supposedly White House lawyers. They're there, but the guys who are supposed to be there, the people, men and women, cleaning this up, it's a crime scene, and looking for additional documents. I don't know why they haven't gone through the Rehoboth house. I don't know why they haven't gone through a lot of it. Where's the FBI? What's their role in this?
That's a great question. I mean, the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago. They had their SWAT team apparatus on. They went through every room, including Barron's room and including Melania's closet. They took the security cameras with them. But here with Joe Biden, who didn't have the authority to declassify documents, so he's in more trouble theoretically than Donald Trump. And yet there was no raid of his residence. To my knowledge, they still haven't gone through his residence. They're just letting Joe Biden's personal attorneys who don't have national security clearance go through and look around, and if they find something, we'll turn it in. And then the Democrats go on all the Sunday shows and say, well, Joe Biden's doing what he was supposed to do. When they found it out, they did the right thing. Well, we don't know that. That's what they say. So who are the checks and balances in this? We're trying to investigate it in the House Oversight Committee. That's our job. But yet they won't answer any questions. All the White House does is attack me or attack Jim Jordan. And, they don't answer any questions. So, there's no credibility here with the investigation, with the special counsel, with the way this has been handled. It's clearly another example of two-tier system of justice in America. And it's only going to get worse the longer the White House goes and the longer National Archives goes without talking to us.
Congressman Comer, last question. You've been very generous with your time. Last one. With the appointment of a special counsel by the Justice Department, by Merrick Garland, Will that be used to block your investigations? Will they just say, we can't tell you, you can't go here because we have our own processes? Will that be used to block your investigation?
I sure hope not. That's why I never advocated for a special counsel. Look, what Merrick Garland said this special counsel was going to do, was just look at Biden's mishandling of classified documents. So they should stay out of our way on the Biden family influence peddling. Look what's come to light this week with all the anonymous donations from China to the University of Pennsylvania, which then went to the Biden Center for Diplomacy. I mean, there are a lot of problems here that need to be investigated with the Biden. So hopefully this special counsel won't be misused to block our investigation.
All right. Congressman Jim Comer, thank you, sir. You're very kind. We appreciate it. We hope to see you again. Good luck on the investigations.